I'm at the gravesite of Frank Dalton, the man who claimed to be Jesse Woodson James. I'm at the gravesite of Frank Dalton, the man who claimed to be Jesse Woodson James. He is here in Granbury, Texas, at the Granbury Cemetery, and his gravestone here says he was Jesse Woodson James, September 5th, 1847 to August 15th, 1951. 103 years old, I believe he was. I'm gonna turn you around and let you see this. This story about Frank Dalton is a pretty weird story. He claimed to be Jesse James later in life. And I believe even there's a picture that is, I think it's Brushy Bill Roberts, claimed to be a part of the James gang before he claimed to be Billy the Kid. And there's a picture of Brushy Bill Roberts at the bedside of Frank Dalton, the man who claimed to be claimed to be Jesse James. So, and Brushy Bill Roberts tried to back him up as being Jesse James. But anyway, Jesse James is buried in Kearney, Missouri, and they exhumed his body in 1997 and did the mitochondrial DNA test, and it was a 99, it was 97. I saw one story said 97, one story said 99% match. So Jesse James is buried in Missouri. This guy is not Jesse James. And they tried to exhume his body. That's where it gets interesting. They tried to exhume his body in, I believe, 2000. And when they did, they got permission to exhume his body and they were going to do DNA. And this person next to him, who is William Henry Holland. William Henry Holland is buried right next to Frank Dalton, the man that claimed to be Jesse James. And when they exhumed the body of what they thought was Frank Dalton, they actually dug up a body, and they realized right away that the casket didn't match. I think it was a metal casket, not a wooden one. And so they knew right away they had a problem. And when they opened the casket, the guy only had one arm. Well, as it would have it, William Henry Holland was missing an arm. And that arm is buried here in this cemetery too, somewhere. But so obviously they dug up the wrong grave. So William Henry must be closer to over here than over here. So anyway, so after that happened, after that debacle, and they dug up the wrong man, I guess they had a hard time getting permission to go ahead and try to, I guess, come over here to the left a little bit and dig up Frank Dalton. So anyway, no proof. There's some living members of Jesse James, his family, that believe that this is Jesse James. I don't really understand that, but and my wife Carrie, I think, is a distant relative of Jesse James, so she could probably check her. Anyway, I'm not sure if it's through marriage or not, but this is I'm gonna do a shot with him, not because I think he's Jesse James, but because I think he's done a good job at making people believe he was. He got some notoriety out of the story, much like Brushy Bill, in my opinion. And the fact that Brushy Bill and Frank Dalton knew each other, and it kind of takes away a little bit of Brushy Bill Roberts' credibility, in my opinion. This newspaper article and picture shows Brushy Bill Roberts at the bedside of Frank Dalton, and it reads, "Old time bandits meet the press. J. Frank Dalton, in bed, who claims to be Jesse James, talks to reporters on his arrival in New York. With him are two of his witnesses, Brushy Bill Roberts, 90, center, who claims to have been a member of the James Gang, and Colonel James R. Davis, 109, who says he was a U.S. Marshal for the Cherokee Indian Nation. Dalton says history incorrectly records his death in 1882 when the victim of Bob Forbes' gun was actually another man." Retro News, San Antonio Express, January 21st, 1950. Anyway, I'm going to take a little shot here with Frank Dalton, the man who claimed to be Jesse Woodson James. So I've been across the country doing these shots with all these famous graves and Wild West figures, and I'm going to do a shot here with Frank Dalton, the man who claimed to be Jesse James and convinced a lot of people, and still today a lot of people believe this man is Jesse James. And I guess it's working, because I traveled all the way here just to see his grave and visit him. But like I said, he's definitely done a good job of portraying this hoax, I think. And hopefully I'm not wrong. I don't think I am, but that's my opinion, obviously. I'm not an expert, just somebody who pays attention to this kind of stuff and has my opinion about it. But if you have a different opinion, make sure you comment below. You know, keep it cordial, hopefully. Because like I said, I don't claim to know everything. I just have an opinion about it. Anyway, taking a shot with Frank Dalton or Jesse James. Piece of grass in there. Oops, sorry about that. Got a whole ton. Oops. Some of the others I've been going to have been kind of obscure, so hopefully somebody can find my shot glass here and come follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Jesse Woodson James. And don't forget William Henry Holland, who was unfortunately disturbed in the exhumation of Frank Dalton. I may try to find his arm. His arm is buried here too. I may try to find it real quick if my wife is patient with me. Anyway, I believe I found the arm of John Henry Holland. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to read. Arm of J.H. Holland. Amputated. November 1895, it looks like. I'm going to turn you around so let you see it. So this center one here is where they placed, I don't know if y'all can read that, arm of J.H. Holland, amputated. Looks like November 16th, 1895. I believe he messed his arm up falling from a cherry tree or something like that. Anyway, that's his arm. And he was buried in, I think, 27, so his arm was buried before 1900, and he died years later, and that was right over there where his grave was, buried next to Frank Dalton. Anyway, that's the arm of J.H. Holland, which is kind of weird that if he wasn't buried next to Jesse James, this probably would be a story that kind of forgotten probably. So kind of cool how it works out sometimes. So that is the gravesite of Frank Dalton and William Henry Holland. Pretty interesting story, the whole thing. I like that kind of stuff. All the stuff around it, all the folklore and all that. I like that kind of thing. Like the story, obviously. Well, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what you think about the video. Let me know if you think I'm right about this. I don't think this is Jesse James, but hey, who am I, right? Anyway, let me know what you think about the video below, and make sure you remember that not all those who wander are lost. Thanks for watching.